Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about what is function. What does function mean in urban planning? Function is the fundamental factor to understand urban. The evolution of urban, the structure of urban. It is also the key to solve urban problems. And in the context of urban land use, we will talk about the function in a small scale, or say the scale of a city. That means we would treat a city as a service and research everything inside it, such as urban structure, urban land use, urban landscape, and so on. For regional or larger scales, that is urban systems. We will cover that in our later videos. We live in a city, more specifically on a city land. The land carries buildings, human infrastructure, and all other essentials. For example, the buildings, the height, density, or say floor area ratio of them are different from land to land. So what makes the differentiation? That is the intent of human activity. And the first way to research the function of a land. Another way is to research the accumulation of factors on the land. We will talk about the second way in the next video. We live in a city for life, so basic needs should be perfectly solved. The need makes us do certain actions. Well, first, we need to eat to maintain our life. In ancient times, we are hunting for food by killing animals or collecting fruits. And now, we won't do that any longer. We just buy some food using money. In order to get money, we need to work. So there are working activities. You can work at a factory, retail store, or in an office. Well, second, we also need to have a shelter, to have a rest, to sleep. So houses or mansions are highly needed for us. And we are trending to choose a quiet, less pollution areas to live. So the residential area or say residential activities are centered in some certain areas. These activities happen in different places, or they have different location trending. For example, previously in the video of urban land use model, I talked about the commercial or say retail activity is trending to the places accessibility. In urban planning, we use colors to represent different functions. As a certain activity taking place in a certain area or land, that will make the land have a character of this activity. Let's say retail. For example, the land is carrying retail activities. Retail needs goods and people. So goods and people are flowing into and out of the city. Out of this land. Flowing into and out of this land. That means the land have the character of retails. Or say the function of the land is retails. For other character of retail, the intensity of activity is high. So the floor area ratio, or say the height and density of building is high. Of course, there are other characters. We can explain more. but we do not have much time to talk about it. We will do that in our later videos. Sorry, I've got a cold. And now what would we do besides eating and sleeping? We can't just eat and sleep. Eat and after eat, sleep. Well, that's boring. So we should have some places to have some outdoor activities. So there will be some recreation area. In urban planning, one of the tasks of urban planner is to make the open area one of the recreation area. Makes it more attractive. That means to attract more people doing recreation activities on that certain land. If not, there is less activity on that land. That will make the planning a failure. We will call that land or area a negative land in urban planning and urban design. In this picture, it is a ghost city in China. Why did this happen? Because there's no activity, so there's no function. So the building is just a building. We will talk about it in our later videos. The three fundamental functions are usually separated, or they have different location trending. We go to work and go back home, sleep. These areas must have a great connection for us to travel. All functions need to communicate with other related functions. For example, go to work and go back home. The working places should be conveniently connected to residential area. So the transport is also a fundamental function of urban. The transport facility are carrying the flow of people and freight to make these three areas functional. Well, these four functions mentioned in the Athens Charter in 1933. I will introduce the Athens Charter deeply in our later videos. There are other phenomena of urban function that is easy to understand by research the activities of human. Activities happened rapidly. The character can be easily changed as the technology grows or the policy changes. That will make the activity change its location trending. But the building and infrastructure is stable and do not easy to change, or say it costs too much to change. So if the function changes, the original activity on a certain land may be squeezed out or other location to other location, or this kind of activity or function die. The street is the same, but the function changed. In this picture, there's LV. This is the street of Paris, and this street is founded in Middle Age. It exists for hundreds of years. For several hundred years ago, there's no LV. Well, this is a new function, new retail. If the building is too old, the street is the same, but the function changed. That is urban rehabilitation. Of course, there may be some upgrade of buildings and infrastructure. If the building is too old, the street or land will redevelop to adapt new functions. Activities are complex inside a city. The activity on the land was not completely the same. in residential area or commercial area. There are also retails or residential area. There are also retail or residential functions in these two areas. If the land is purely one function, that is unhealthy, even in one building. This is the picture or PPT I just in the previous video. That's in one building. Let's see this. In one building, there's also multiple functions. You can read the book "The Born and Death of American City" by Jacobs to learn more. So the mixed use of land is commonly seen in urban planning. Well, okay, that's for today's video of urban function. In the next video, I will talk about urban function in the second way. And I want to talk about urban economy in the following videos. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave your comments below, and don't